Welcome to Sunday School for Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. For our junior high students, I do not own the rights to this music. Today's memory verse is Psalms 104, verse 24. O Lord, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. The lesson scripture is coming out of Psalms 104, verses 5 through 9, and then verses 24 through 30. The title of today's story, Taking Care of Home. Most places carry reminders about how we should take care of the earth. You might have recycling bins in your school and at home. Maybe your parents and teachers remind you of the importance of conserving water and electricity. Nationwide, communities, schools, and churches even celebrate Earth Day. But how many of us really feel that taking care of the earth is taking care of our home? Wangari Maathai grew up in Kenya, knowing God and His beautiful works in nature around her. As she grew up, she watched the world around her become damaged through deforestation. She started the Green Belt movement in 1977. Through the movement, Maathai improved the economic status of the women in her country and reversed the devastation to the trees of Kenya. Maathai's movement has grown to be responsible for the planting of 15 million trees and more than 1,500 tree nurseries and offices in 30 African nations. Her work earned her a Nobel Peace Prize for her environmental activism. Not only did she help women financially support themselves through the planting of trees and replenishing their own environment, but she also fought ecological and social injustice in the government by inspiring fellow Kenyans to stand up for the rights of nature and people. Wangari Maathai has inspired people well beyond the borders of her home country. By taking care of her home on God's earth, Wangari allows the earth to take care of, protect, and provide for others. Our lesson scripture, Psalms 104, verses 5 through 9, and then verses 24 through 30. Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever? Thou coverest it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains. They go down by the valleys, unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth. O Lord, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships. There is that Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. That thou givest them, they gather. Thou openest thine hand, they are filled with good. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die, and return to their dust. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. God creates. God is the creator and sustainer of all things. In our scripture, we see the beauty of God's benevolence and the relationship between God and all of creation. God creates and provides for creation. Creation in turn praises God with its very existence, depending on Him for food, shelter, and the joy of life. There is no separation between the Creator and creation. It is God's love and spirit that animates all life, people, animals, and plants. Nature and all that is in it reflects the fingerprint of God. It is a beautiful and wonderful orchestra where the entire world sings His praise. How to see creation as art. Acknowledge God's power. love, and care for all of creation. Recognize the beauty in God's work by taking a walk in nature. And take care of the world around you. Reuse as much as you can. Clean up your neighborhood or encourage your family to recycle. Everything we need. All humans have basic needs that must be supplied to sustain their daily lives. Where can Christians find a reliable source to assist them in acquiring what is needed? The psalmist tells us that God's hands are overflowing with the resources needed to sustain everything He created. Although we do not live in the wild of nature, we all have gifts and ideas that God can use to sustain us and those around us. How can you work with others to use your gifts and ideas to be an agent of God's provision and sustaining love? Refuse not to refuse. Recycling is not the only activity that helps the earth. Reusing is also something that helps our ecology. Instead of creating more trash, we can reuse things and keep them out of landfills and garbage dumps. One really fun way to reuse is to host a swap party. A swap party is a gathering at which all of the invited guests bring some gently or barely used clothes they no longer want in order to trade them with other guests. Discuss putting together a swap party with your teacher and other members of your class. Look up swap parties on the internet for ideas on how to organize and run one. Have fun. Daily Bible reading for the week. Monday, the topic is living creatures of every kind. Read Genesis chapter 1, verses 20 through 25. Tuesday, the topic is made in the image of God. Read Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 through 31. Wednesday, the topic is formed from the dust. Read Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 9. Thursday, the topic is in the likeness of God. Read Genesis chapter 5, verses 1 through 5. Friday, the topic is made a little lower than God. Read Psalms chapter 8. Saturday, the topic is created in the likeness of God. Read Ephesians chapter 4, verses 17 through 24. And on Sunday, the topic is created male and female. Read Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 25. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.